Fasten your seatbelts.
DJ No Original.
To quote Drake, look alive, look alive. Good morning, my beloved Sandy Spring community. It is so great to have us all together again, even if only virtually. I guess that's one benefit of using Zoom. There's no possible way to mix up the location of graduation. I made this mistake this year when I thought the championship soccer game was held on our own Sandy Spring field. For anybody wondering, it was not. And I sat alone looking at an empty field. I would like to take this time to extend a warm welcome to all of my fellow graduates and their families. The class of 2020. We've said those words for 4 years, and now the moment is finally here. Although these circumstances weren't ideal, we found new and interesting ways to celebrate. Honking horns down the street and sending well wishes through video messages to our friends. One thing that I can say for sure is that I am truly excited to be sitting here on a Zoom call with you all. Zoom and excited in the same sentence is very oxymoronic. Just like talking and listening. My mom always said, can't do both. Or even scrumptious and cafeteria food. Those two words usually don't go together. I'll tell you what was scrumptious though, that clear lemonade we had every day. Woo! Boy, do I miss it. When looking back on my 3 years at Sandy Spring, one phrase sums up this class perfectly. I know what you're expecting. One of the phrases we hear every day. Let your lives speak, walk in the light, or you can't kill the devil with a gun or sword. Okay, maybe that last one was just me. But, in my eyes, the phrase to sum up this class perfectly is we will neither be defined nor defeated. I truly believe that we will neither be defined nor defeated is the core character of the Sandy Spring class of 2020. It is what makes us definitively remarkable, extraordinary, and brilliant. And I say those words without a doubt in my mind, because as a class, we prove this statement nearly every day. You guys proved it to me my very first day on campus. I was at D Block right before lunch, looking for Moore Hall very desperately. Heard the bell ring and I felt the vibrations through my body. I didn't want to be late, so I sprinted across the grass and tragically slipped in the mud. But I made it to class on time, because as it turns out, the bell I heard was the first bell, and I still had 5 minutes to get to class. None of you probably remember this moment, but I do, because at my most vulnerable, my classmates didn't humiliate the new kid who arrived to class covered in dirt. Each one of you has had similar stories about your introduction to the Sandy Spring community. For many of you, that was the freshman year camping trip. You guys were confronted with a situation that at first was uncomfortable and unfamiliar. As a class, you guys had no clue what to expect, feeling lost and clueless, spending time with people you just didn't know. But through flipping over canoes, long nights in bunk beds, and not washing for several days, you guys grew closer than ever. Upon arriving to Sandy Spring, we initially felt so ignorant, yet at the same time excited and curious. We questioned whether to believe in the stereotypes of classic high school movies or summon our belief in all things positive as we took the next step in our journey. The certainty didn't last for long. The SFS communities that surrounded us forced us to let our guard down and to love each other in new ways. We danced with flowers around our neck like no one was watching, but let me tell you, the teachers definitely were. We took the high road during the Sophomore Olympics and allowed the 2018 seniors to win the tug of peace. We survived that strange spring by dipping and dodging when the bees attacked us while walking across campus. Personally, I chose to run and scream every time I saw one. We embraced each other during the PVAC championship, the basketball championship that is. The entire community screaming and stomping in unison as we stormed the court in exuberant joy. What a surreal experience, right? In all these moments, fear and questioning were no longer factors. We were Sandy Springers, growing closer each day, beginning to solidify the friendships that will last a lifetime. We did not let fear of the unknown define or establish our Sandy Spring experience or who we would be while we were here. Instead, we let them develop naturally over time. We continued to grow after we formed these connections, and our eyes were open to all this community has to offer. Similar to my experience when I realized junior year that we had a farm. The connections we formed were good times filled with laughter and jokes, but most importantly, we became truly invested in the Sandy Spring culture. Then came that period when we needed to step it up again. Suddenly, the teachers made it clear that their goal was to enhance our minds and perfect the work we produced. Seemingly nothing we did was adequate. We struggled to excel at the level we previously prevailed. I can remember the moment a teacher handed me back an assignment and I felt my heart stop and the tears form in my eyes. Eventually, we had the pleasure of once again experiencing exhilaration when we saw our late nights, stress, and hard work pay off. What's special about those experiences was not the final result, but what we learned about ourselves. No matter how long it took, we never doubted that hard work would pay off. We never doubted that we could and would finally grasp the concept we struggled with all year. We were simply determined. Determined not to let one grade or academic struggle represent us as students. And our perseverance paid off. We found a balance between stress and expression, and we figured out how to excel academically and develop socially. We embraced each other as we shared and discovered our passions. That passion manifested itself throughout the community as we danced, acted, ran, jumped, climbed, designed, and taught. We taught each other through engaging in deep discussions about politics, culture, and race. We didn't stray from speaking our minds and allowed ourselves to understand and respect who we are as people. We expressed ourselves unapologetically and challenged those around us to think in new ways. We refused to be confined to a box or deny who we truly are. We became accustomed, year after year, to traveling around the world and learning to give back. This definitely gave me the unique opportunity to check some things off my bucket list. Setting a fire alarm off at 5 a.m., attempting to sing a cappella, and building a house without putting a nail through my hand, just to name a few. But then that opportunity was taken from us. But our compassion shined through in other ways, such as raising money to give gloves and face masks to those in need in Wuhan, China. Our shared kindness and resiliency was most prevalent at the end of our junior year, when we lost a valued member of our class and Sandy Spring community. My dearest friend, Benjamin Uzel. As a class, we leaned on each other for support and made the decision to celebrate his name. We became inspired as a community to embody the positivity, determination, and liveliness he brought to campus. As a class, we joined hands in one accord, and our connection became imperishable. Today, we face a challenge that has seemingly ruined our senior year. We are faced with a global pandemic that is threatening the lives of millions. We have been forced to adapt to new ways of learning and missed out on so many cherished senior traditions. For example, the spring concert, the end-of-year assembly, all spring sports seasons, and our beloved senior meeting for worship. Not to mention the irreplaceable memories that we would have made with each other. Today, we question whether the world will return to normal and if the class of 2020 will be hindered from being prosperous. The answer is no. We've been nurtured towards success by our parents and each member of the faculty and staff in our Sandy Spring community. The Sandy Spring class of 2020 will continue to be exceptional. We will continue to adapt to difficult situations while simultaneously creating better options and opportunities. Class of 2020, I leave you with this one message today. Sandy Spring has instilled in us a mindset. That mindset is to neither be defined nor defeated by anything that comes our way. We were not defined by the fear that coursed through our body when we entered the Sandy Spring community, but instead, we chose to make lifelong friends. We were not defined by the tragic loss of Ben, but instead, we chose to celebrate his name. We were not defined by the differences we had within us, but instead, we chose to embrace them. We were not defined by the one bad grade that Adam, Teak, Ariel, or Elizabeth gave us, but instead, we became inspired to work harder. We were not defined by the limitations that the world set on us, but instead, we chose to positively impact the world. We will not be defined by our college acceptances. We will not be defined by the tragedies that come our way. We will not be defined by COVID-19, but we will continuously find new ways to prosper. We will neither be defined nor defeated. Sandy Spring, class of 2020, I urge you to stand tall and to continue to not let anything define or defeat you throughout your life. Sandy Spring, class of 2020, continue to choose to never be defined nor defeated, and let your lives speak. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.